Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to review BLG HLE, just I guess recap it, and then preview tomorrow's T1 top esports matchup. Prediction wise, I had BLG winning this one 3-2. I thought they'd come through in game 5, and in the end, they win game 4. A game that honestly HLE had a chance at. They were in control for 70% of it, a stat that I've been using, combining gold and objectives taken. If you're new to the channel, just looking at what team is actually ahead, not necessarily what we're seeing on the screen, from macro and things like that, and just what we feel as control, who is actually in control. And this one was 57-43 in BLG's favor by the end, very close to yesterday's 55-45. I had comments in regards to that series that Weibo may have smoked LNG. In my opinion, that was definitely not the case because, hell, there were moments where LNG should have won those games and simply did not. Now in this one, HLE ahead handily in game 1, 80-20, and then in game 4 they lose after being ahead 70-30. But games 2 and 3 were completely in BLG's favor start to finish. Honestly, even in game 4 there was a draft diffy in favor of BLG. It's almost like Dandy kind of entered this one for Hanwha Life. Honest to God, Nocturne, I think that champ really stinks for, when you have two teams that are pretty evenly matched, we're not looking to turn the lights off on each other, let's just play the damn game. Whereas when you have two teams, one's worse than the other, yeah, you may have to actually turn the lights off on the other team to have a chance to win the team fight. Literally you have to distract them, make them, you have the moments where people may even look at their teammate's screen next to them or something, trying to see what the fuck is going on. That is what you do if you're a team that is not as good as the other one. But when you're evenly matched, I really can't imagine why HLE did that. It did not go very well. Knight on Silas, hell, he can take that ulti as well. Silas, a monster pick. I think highest win rate right now at the tournament for those that had him as pick'ems. Just a nasty pick. And then, hell, in game 4, Knight goes on Galio, and Zeka picks a Silas, and it's more of a Zeka champ. He's pretty good at Silas, of course, but it just didn't make a difference because you have Viper on MF. Now, Viper ended up leading HLE in damage with 37%, going 20-14 and 28, picking Ezreal, Kai'Sa, Zeri, and Misfortune. But on the BLG side, Elk led the way in damage, going 18, 13, and 30 with 33%. MF, Xayah, Ashe, and Kai'Sa. So MF 0-2 in this series. Sean 11, 9, and 39. Vi, Sejuani, Wukong, and the Kindred. So a wide selection out of Sean as well. We have a Sejuani and a Vi, very facilitator oriented. Sejuani more so frontline, and then Wukong will facilitate and kind of deal some damage, but then Kindred purely a 80 carry champion, of course, AD jungler, heavy damage, and then the ulti is not necessarily for facilitating, it's for save my life. And it actually works because, hell, if Silas takes the Galio ulti and then tries to use it, well, Kindred's just going to ulti, and there we go, we're safe now. It works for BLG both ways. Now, not mentioned on here is Bin. Bin took Doran's lunch money and bullied him throughout the series. In my opinion, Bin was the MVP. At the end, he's not considered MVP, at least I believe on the broadcast. And then also, hell, he's not leading in stats, right? But Bin gapped Doran. He gapped Doran on both sides of the Jax matchup. And at certain points, just we're leaving Jax up. Forget it. Let Doran play it. And Doran did Jax squat on it in game 3. Bin on the Gnar, very impactful. Bin found a way to dominate this series, and it's not very hard for him. He's definitely peaking right now in his career, and looks like an unstoppable force in top lane. It is what is making BLG go, more so than even Knight and Elk. Of course, many fans of both of those players because they're in the more carry-oriented roles, but Bin is the one that is really just chugging along here. It's unfortunate for a player like Peanut, in my opinion, because Peanut did pretty well in this series that Doran kind of into his face off. And in my, thing is, it's actually, I shouldn't even say it that way, because I've said this going into this event, that I don't consider Doran as much of a choker because he loses against players that I just think are pretty much better than him, for the most part. In this case, Bin is better than him, But why are we not putting him on champions where he can have relevance in the mid to late game if we know he's going to lose lane? Where is the Scion? Where is it? I mean, I don't know if Ornn is even very good right now. I mean, I've seen a couple players play Scion at this event. What about a Malphite? Is that even playable? I mean, I don't look at solo queue win rates. But the fact of the matter is, if these things have some value, they need to be picked. Like, we need to find some way to put Doran on a facilitator, a weak side champion, a champion where no matter what, we're going to get value out of it if this game goes to 30 or 35 minutes. Not a champion where, oh shit, he's behind 2,500 gold, it's over. Or he's behind even laning phase 1,000 gold. Well, this is problematic. This is not going to work. And that's part of the drafting problems I saw with HLE. Dandy had never been to Worlds as a coach, although being with HLE for multiple years, and we've seen HLE struggle for the majority of his tenure if we look back at it. I believe if we look back, he's been there since, I want to say since the start of HLE. Could be wrong. And HLE's tenure has not been the greatest, right? Now, Dandy is a world champion as a player, but just as a coach, I feel like these drafts were booty. They were not very good. Putting Viper on MF is not great. We saw Elk lose on it as well. The Ari pick stunk for both sides. Just not good for HLE in all ways, shape, or form. They are a gatekeeper team, though. They aren't the type of team that's going to beat you. They're going to beat the teams that beat themselves. BLG beating themselves in game 1. And then HLE do not play characteristically like themselves. So I guess they played uncharacteristically in game 4 where they lost the game after being in a winnable position. Even if they were losing Drakes, they were still ahead in the gold to trade off those Drakes. So when it came down to that fight for that final Drake for Soul, for BLG, that was the culminating moment. Is your gold lead enough to win this team fight? And it wasn't. They lose the Drake, and once you lose Soul, I mean, it's tough sledding after that point, right? So BLG win that. They're going to play Weibo next week. That's going to be, of course, a monster matchup because those two teams know each other well. Preview for tomorrow, T1 Top Esports. Top Esports did beat T1 at this event. Now, I'm not going to go over that game very much because, frankly, I feel like it's a disservice to those that do like these two teams because, I mean, hell, I went over 11 games of Weibo LNG. I looked back at the history of BLG HLE players against each other, so I figured I'll try and break down Zeus 369 and even a little bit of Keria Mako because those guys have played against each other before outside of that one game. Top Esports did win that. Cream on the Aurora doing a lot of work into Faker's Nico, leading in damage. But that kind of is the deal with that. So Zeus and 369 have played each other 14 times. Zeus winning 10 of them. Now 369 was on JDG, so keep that in mind. Many people think JDG are chokers, but they actually have the highest win rate amongst LPL teams that have played at least 5 series in international play. MSI and World. So that is an interesting thing to think about when we like to claim a team is a choking organization. So Zeus 10-4 has a better KDA. Now the damage shares are pretty close. 23.7, 22.8. Top lane, that's kind of standard. But they're closer than I thought they would be. Because Zeus definitely takes on more of a carry narrative where 369, in my opinion, is more of a well-rounded player that can offer more facilitator picks if necessary. I'm waiting for something to fall when I'm hearing that noise. Gold share, 1% different. Zeus over 369. So Zeus getting a little more resources. Carry, that makes sense. Return on investment, damage divided by gold, slightly ahead, 1.38 to 1.23. So all these kind of check out. Now, in the laning phase, Zeus, actually, I should have this up here, but Zeus is on average ahead 80 gold and 200 XP. So really, in these 14 games, pretty damn close. Now, we have seen some diffies. If you look at it, think back, oh, well, didn't so-and-so dominate that one game? Yeah, well, if we go back throughout their history against each other, it all washes out. There are games where 369 took Zeus's lunch money and vice versa. So you're like, oh, yeah, but what happened lately? Well, what happened lately was Top Esports beat T1 at Worlds. And I'm not including Esports World Cup. That's a farce. I'm sure some people are going to say that in the comments. I should have started with that. I do not recognize that tournament as a tournament on par with MSI or Worlds, so that is why it's not on here. In terms of solo kills, that should have been swapped as well. 369 has 4, Zeus has 3 in the games they played against each other. Now that's the marquee matchup. I had 369, I think, as my top laner going into the event, or maybe number 2 behind Bin, Zeus 3 or something of that nature. And I mean, hell, we love this matchup, right? It's elite players. TN into Owner, that is a good one too, because I don't see either one as the best in the world. So we're looking at 2 of the guys that are like in that 3 through, we could say, 6 to 8 range, with guys like Shun and Peanut, etc. Like that's a great matchup, actually. We'll see how it goes. Mid lane, Cream, Faker. We'll see how Cream does in this big matchup. Faker has never not gotten past quarters if he goes to Worlds. That's hard to bet against. I know today I was actually getting coffee, and somebody that I graduated with asked me about T1 because they're a fan of T1. And I said, I kind of want Top to win, personally, just because I had Top winning back in January, amongst other people had them winning at that time, and I'm kind of sticking to that, just going to play it out and let it ride. But Faker has never not gotten past this point if he's here. So, best of 5 Faker is a different animal, especially in quarterfinals. And Cream, this is a big moment, and this is going to be good for his career, regardless of the result. Bot lane matchup, Jackie Love Mako, definitely more experienced. Now, Guma Keria have been around the block. They've played Mako probably makes up the difference by quite a large margin, the whole international games thing. But in terms of experience, that is the difference there, is vision, efficiency, things like that Mako kind of just knows more than Keria does, and how to play the game out. Now, Keria is better in lane when they're against each other. Keria is 3 and 2. Better KDA, 4.4 to 1.4. Mako more of a engage-like support. I think there's a Leona game in there and shit like that. 0.75 return on investment, 0.64. So definitely more damage than we're used to seeing. But just in general, like Keria, I always say Keria is the player that I identify as the best mechanically in the world. I say he's the best player in the world because I think he can literally play any champion you want him to play, if you give him an opportunity, and he is willing to do it for the most part. And I mean, hell, there's a Shen game even in this mix of 5 games that I looked at that Keria played, Soraka, things like that you don't normally see. It's very fringe, but Keria, those are the type of picks he could pull out tomorrow if they're even remotely decent, and you'd be like, oh crap, what? We've seen this before. It's not even a first time. It's like, oh no, he's played that. So it's definitely an interesting thing. Also, both of these bot lanes, a lot of Senna games this year. Now Senna's not as strong, but we did see it pop in to Worlds a couple times in the support role. Are we going to see Nyla Senna tomorrow or something out of T1? It's a possibility. They're capable of doing things like that. Jackie and Mako, more standard but dominant in their role. Once again, we're at the end of Worlds here. The final 8 teams and now final 6 teams. And we have elite bot lanes, elite top laners, elite junglers, and a mid lane matchup that has old versus new. And we'll see who takes it tomorrow. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.